Hello, hello, and welcome to Luna and the Druid, a channel where we talk about spirituality, tarot, magic, wheel of fortune. Somehow I can hear myself. Okay, that's done. That's sorted. Sorry about the technical issues. Anyway, I was just saying that I am very happy to be here tonight with you guys, our dear viewers, and with Jan, my dear co host, the Druid. Hello, Druid. How are you?
Hello, guided by Luna. How are you? Lovely to see you again tonight, and lovely to see a few viewers already signing in. And yeah, I love what we're going to talk about tonight because yeah, we were kind of inspired by two things.
Mm,
Last week, the 14th, we had Valentine's Day. We met up for a cup of coffee, and of course, in our journey through the tarot, um, this week we will touch upon another card related to it, number six, the lovers.
yes, the fool meets the lovers. We
Yeah,
briefly will touch on that. However, the topic of love is huge as the ocean, so we'll definitely talk about that as well today. What love means to us. Feel free to comment. Feel free to show us your insight on what we're talking about. So make sure to leave a comment and be a part of this discussion.
yeah, yeah. So today the topic is love. Of
Mhm.
course, we will do a small love reading. Today we're going to
Course.
do one. Both of us are going to do a reading. I will do one with a new tarot deck, the Maria Tarot,
Mhm.
and
I will
you.
go for oracle cards. I'll probably use the Love Angels, the Romance Angel by Doreen Virtue, and then but the Power of Love by
Wow.
James Van Praagh.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Mm.
So, Donna, love. Love
Oh,
is the bridge between you or me and everything.
I
By
love.
Rumi, yeah,
Yeah,
the
I love.
13th century Persian poet. And yeah, if we talk about love, uh, not the romantic love, but the spiritual love, the love of unselfishness, of just
Mm,
giving and expecting nothing in return, but of course getting something in return anyway. It's like a seed or an acorn that touches the ground after in the harvest or in the autumn, and uh, then it's in the heart of a dense forest, and by itself it's small, but it's given time, it will grow out to be a tree.
yeah.
The tree needs nothing else than just time, sunlight, and rain, and it grows into a tree, and it brings shadow, shade,
Mm,
passers by. It gives shelter to other creatures. It's a home to other creatures. It gives oxygen to us, the tree, to the world, and it asks for nothing in return to flourish and to give love. So
mm,
its purpose is just to be and to give, and it asks nothing in return. Maybe, okay, we could say, leave it alone, leave it be, let it grow.
mhm,
And so that's also, yeah, that's also when we go inwards and look for spiritual love. It's a small, unnoticed feeling, but as we nurture it with practices like meditation, unselfishness, by tender loving kindness, by giving, by being of service, it grows. It grows beneath or beyond our expectancies and our desires, and we embrace others, and then we see that whatever you give, the law of karma kicks in, and you'll get so much back.
mm.
But it
Well,
starts with
yeah, the most important thing you touched on here is that the love is not just between a man and a woman or between two partners, a woman
no.
and a woman, in terms of the romantic connection. Love is so much more. And I really love the analogy of the tree because it shows how deeply this feeling can affect others without putting any effort into it.
Yeah. So um, when we give love, it goes from itself, and when we receive love in return, or we receive goodness and and sharing, um, yeah, it feels like it feels like growing up, being becoming a better person, because once you receive, you're automatically automatically start giving again. That's what we do. That's how we are. That's who we are.
Yeah. Well, I suppose that's another important thing, that as a being, as humans, we are love. We are good people as nature. In our nature, our hearts are good. Our hearts want to give. Our hearts want to overflow with this beautiful and wonderful energy. However, we know life can mess up a little bit with this beautiful and kind nature of ours. And I think it's really important to recognize that what is actually making me and causing me not to feel the love anymore. Did you ever experience that? I certainly have.
Yeah, of course. We all experience things like yeah. You could give many names to them. My favorite name is the dark night of the soul,
Mm.
where the shadow, the internal shadow, takes over, where you forget who you really are, you forget who you truly are, you forget that you are love. Um, you're challenged. Your love is challenged. Your the most important thing that's challenged there is your self love, because
Mm.
the root of all love is loving yourself. You
Yeah,
cannot give love if you don't, if you can't give it to yourself. You can't give it to someone else either.
absolutely, absolutely. And that's where love starts. It starts within, from within, but it has to be love which we give to ourselves. So, Jan, what self love would mean for you then?
Mm, well, self love essentially would mean that um, there's a lot of meanings. But my most important thing is that I'm never alone or never
Mm,
lonely. You know, I'm quite okay with myself, and I can spend my time on my own for days. That doesn't mean that I'm the hermit all the time, or that I want to be a hermit all the time. I crave I crave contact as well. You know, I crave
mm,
love, I crave intimacy, I crave giving and receiving. But but I'm okay in my little hideaway in the Cork and Kerry mountains, when sometimes I'm there on my own for a day or a few days. It's fine. I'm good with myself. That's the
mm,
most important thing. And not judging yourself, forgiving yourself. Self forgiveness is a very important element of it too.
mm. Yeah,
Forgiving your mistakes. We all make them.
of course, that's how we learn. Otherwise, we wouldn't learn.
That's it. Yeah.
Obviously, it's best to do it through fun and play, but who am I trying to kid? If that would be so easy, we wouldn't make mistakes. But unfortunately, for some reason, we like to choose the path through pain. But with no pain, there is no gain. If we can't feel pain, we may not be able to feel love as well because we wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
I always say, in that perspective, I celebrate the contrast.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. Set the Gemini, who is basically full of contrast, and I
We
know
are we
myself
are
because I'm
contrasting
guilty of
people.
that as well.
So yeah, yeah, yeah. You might see two hosts in the camera today, dear people, but it's four of us.
Yeah. I always say that every zodiac has half for the light side and the half for the dark side, but we Geminis have the entire person for that, and that's so true.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yes.
So yeah. So once we have the self love, what would self love mean for you actually?
Mm. For me, self love is giving everything. So I would give to other people, to myself, starting with me, starting with checking how I am, starting with checking what are my needs, how can I fulfill those needs before I even think of other people. It's that self focus on how am I, how do I feel within myself, how my soul feels within me. Because when I'm connected with my soul, the love flows like unconditionally and without limits. But sometimes life can get in a way, and it's easy to forget that connection. It's easy to forget that source of love from within, from the source. Actually, the way I see love is like a light coming through from up from the sky, and then from the mother earth, from the bottom as well, is that constant flow of energy. um to me, self-love is also taking care of myself, my physical needs, my other needs, less physical, more emotional, and etherical, as well as being present, I suppose, because that's where I feel love the most, by being in this moment, like I am here and now with you here.
Yeah, yeah, that's very deep. That's very important. Being present, especially when you are with someone. I always, when I talk to someone, or even when I do a reading for someone or do coaching with someone, I always say, "Do you feel it?" They say, "What do you feel?" We're in a bubble. We're in a bubble. We are totally disconnected from the rest of the world.
Mm,
I'm here 100% for you, and I feel that you are here 100% for me. And oftentimes, it only takes one of the two in the bubble to give themselves for the other 100%, for the other to be completely captivated by the
mm,
process and be sucked in. And there, boom, there you have this bubble. And
yeah.
it comes with presence. Um, there are some elements to spiritual love, and maybe we can walk through them. I have four topics about it.
Mhm.
Uh, so spiritual love should be unconditional,
Oh, absolutely.
inclusive,
Mm.
transformative, and the highest one, transcendent.
Oh, wow. I
Yeah,
love that. I
yeah,
love
yeah.
that.
So unconditional, you already touched a bit on that. Given freely without expectations of return.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the aspects of unconditional love. Um, do you sometimes do you recognize the feeling that when you offer something to someone, help or a gesture or a gift or service or whatsoever, and it gets denied, that can be hurtful.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to give unconditionally, but it gets denied because the other things, oh yeah, but they want something in return for it. No, that's not your meaning of giving.
Hmm. I suppose we can look at it from different perspectives. First of all, when we want to do something for others and they say no, very often it's the ego who gets hurt first, because we're
Of
human
course.
beings. It's
Yeah,
normal and natural to have
yeah,
emotions. Actually, that's the reason why we came on earth, to experience emotions, because when we are flying as the energy back in heaven, there is love, bliss, and light. So we come here to experience the differences, the experience the opposite of it.
yeah,
But mm, that's actually a great example of how to keep giving that love and filling ourselves and others with love when we say no. Hmm.
yeah.
How do you feel about that, Jan? Because I think
Yeah.
I need a moment.
Well, for me, the most important lesson, because I was always very reluctant uh, in receiving, but once I found out that there's also pleasure in the giving,
Mhm.
I learned that it's an honor You honor the giver by accepting their gifts
Mm-hmm.
unconditionally,
Mm.
and and then not be disappointed by the other if um, if they ask something in return, or maybe come back later. Yeah, but I did this and this and this for you. Where's my where's my return? Well, then I said this wasn't unconditional. Unconditional is just giving, receiving, accepting unconditionally, and of course, uh, yeah, start giving as well, because you're a good receiver can also be a good giver. And what a very important thing about that in karma, what I learned was that sometimes you give something to somebody, and they give something to somebody, and they give something to somebody, and they give something to somebody, and that fourth person gives something to you and closes the circle.
Yes,
you,
absolutely.
you I recently, maybe years ago, for the first time I experienced it. I think, well, why is this fella doing this for me? And then I found the circle of giving, giving, giving.
Mm.
So I gave something to someone, and via it came back to me.
Yeah, because that's what love is. It multiplies everything you give into it. So if you give love, if you give kindness, if you
Yeah.
give goodness, it comes back one way or another, and it doesn't have to be the way you imagine or the way you would expect it.
No,
But as you said, absolutely, it'll always come back,
it will always come back.
very often multiplied.
That's the thing. Of course, multiplied. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but you touched on a really important aspect of love, giving, and receiving. There is a pleasure in giving, and there is a pleasure in receiving. And I think that everything should flow. So if we are good givers, let's allow ourselves to receive as well.
Boom. So,
And it's not easy. Like, I'm guilty many times of saying no if somebody offers me help.
mhm,
And we recently even had an example. Jan offered his help to me, and I said no, but not because I don't love myself, not because I don't value his help. It's just because when I'm capable of doing something on my own,
of
then I
course.
will do it on my own. But sometimes, and how many times we will say no just for the purpose of saying no, because our ego will stop us from receiving.
Yeah,
I am just quickly analyzing that situation. Was
yeah,
there that element involved? In our situation, we maybe we don't have to go into details.
of course.
Uh, However, I'm sorry for saying no.
Oh, it doesn't matter. I'm
But
okay with it.
the relationship we have with Jan is so flowing and so loving and so kind that we are okay with saying no
Of
when
course.
somebody gives something, and we're okay to say yes
As
with a
well.
full arms
Yeah.
open.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a matter of individual thing.
Yeah.
Mm, but yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Giving, receiving is a form of love.
Yeah.
And actually, another form of love came here.
Ah, a producer.
Yes, our producer. And I think for me, this is one of the most amazing examples of love in general. The love your pet will give you, the unconditional love, in my case, a doggy, gives me, it's just, oh, it's beyond the stars. And I'm learning so much from her because
Yeah.
she never expects anything from me apart from just my attention and my time, just like she wants me now. She wants to be close to me.
Yeah.
uh, and the amount of love I'm actually receiving through petting her and through touching her lovely is just filling me with so much joy and so much
Yeah.
light.
Yeah. But I would say, see that you are giving her a lot too.
Oh, it's a mutual connection in terms of
Of
giving,
course, it's
giving and take.
reciprocal. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so lovely
Yes.
that your doggy is here, because it points to the second topic I was uh, I was about to introduce. It's love is inclusive, so it
Mm,
extends beyond personal attachments. It extends beyond uh, giving love to the known ones and to the
mm,
strangers, to nature, to animals, and of course giving love to the cosmos.
Mm, yeah.
So it's so it's not it's without expectations, inclusive, and it's given as widely as you can.
Yeah, that's the thing. We touched on it at the beginning that love is not just romantic type of love. Love is not between humans. Love goes, as you said, beyond everything. Um, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, and we'll touch that later. But as animistic druid for myself, I can love a rock, I can love a river, I can
mm,
love a tree. I hug trees.
sounds
Druids
right.
are known for tree for being tree huggers. You know,
Of course.
it's it goes beyond.
Yeah.
So
And I'm known for my love to animals. I'm vegan, and that's my way of showing the love to the world, to the planet, not just animals, because being vegan is not just not eating animal products. It goes way deeper than that, because the bottom line and the main value of being vegan is to not harm, is to take care of others like I would take care of myself.
yeah, and with that, transform yourself.
Mhm.
So the love has the power to transform you. It you know when you're when you return from the dark night of the soul after a period of darkness, and all of a sudden you see there are safety nets everywhere. There's people coming through. There's friends
Mhm.
and family and sometimes even random strangers that do things that leads to spiritual growth. That leads to enlightenment.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I experienced it myself. I've been on a about 17 years ago on a spiritual quest, on a spiritual journey where I took my backpack and traveled to the north of Norway, above the
Mm.
polar circle. It was getting into summer, so a lot of warmth and lightness, no darkness in the night. But I came from a very dark place, and well, the most funny thing, the funny anecdote I experienced up there was I went there with new gear. So I had a new backpack, a new tent, a new roll-up mattress, and a new sleeping bag. And when I got home, the tent was still in the wrapper. I bought it in.
What do you mean?
I've been in Norway for half a year, and with my tent, but I never slept in the tent. I had a roof above the head every night.
Mm.
Norwegians are known for their hospitality, but they were legend.
I see.
It started the first day. I stepped out of the plane. I had missed the bus because the plane had a bit of delay, and the next bus would go 2 days later. I think, well, let's do a bit of hitchhiking. And the first car that stopped was a nice man, roughly my age, and and we started talking, and he appeared to be a Sami shaman, and I, of
Mm.
course, was a druid already at the time, and
Mm.
so so you're like a Celtic shaman. I said, yeah, yeah, kind of that. Oh. Well,
Celtic shaman. I love that.
I better call home then. He said to, to cook a bit of extra dinner,
Mm, that's so
and
kind.
so just like even within an hour of hopping off the plane in Tromsø in Nordland, which is really the middle of nowhere, the end of the runway, you're just walking in the village street. The cars can drive into the runway. It's a hole. It's nothing, but so
Mm.
much kindness and so much love. And that journey into Norway, where I received so much, I gave a lot as well. Like
Mm.
but when I received so much hospitality, friendliness, and love, when I got back uh, at the beginning of winter, I was a totally different human.
Mm.
Was completely transformed.
Lovely.
And
Lovely.
yeah,
Our producer is calling for some attention. Come here,
yeah,
baby. Come here, baby. But what I want to add to this is it is very important. It's easy to love ourselves when we are just by ourselves. It's easy or easier, I shall I say, because it's sometimes it's not easy to love ourselves, but it's easier to love ourselves when it's just us. But I personally believe that we learn the most about where we're standing with self-love and the love in general when we are with other people. And your story confirms that because it's easy to be kind and loving to ourselves when we don't have anyone else to take care of, when we don't have responsibilities or karma which comes with other people's. But when we get around other people's, how we can recognize where we actually are at this journey. I'm saying this because myself, I really thought I love myself. I really was convinced that I do a lot of things for myself which fill my spirit. And one day I just went through a shock because I realized how far from a truth it was. Back then I didn't have a doggy, and those who know me know that the dog is just like piece of my hand or even heart. In order for me to be me, I have to have a doggy next to me because something's missing when that part of me is not there. And some may say it's not love because that's something which comes from the outside source, which gives me love. But I strongly disagree with that because what the dog does to me, I'm a very outdoorsy person. And when you have a dog, you have no choice but be an outdoor person. And that's when I thrive. I thrive when I'm out in the nature. And when I didn't have a dog, I was focused on work. I was focused on doing things for my business, for I was nurturing my baby. I was doing still things for myself. But there were days that I didn't even leave the house for 2, 3 days. Was
Yeah.
that self-love? I don't think so.
It's not. No, no, no. Self-love is self-care,
It is.
and
It is
and
absolutely.
and locking yourself up in the house and not taking the breath of fresh air, especially us
Mm.
people who don't live in the city or the town. We live in the countryside. We have it at our fingertips. So make use of it.
Yeah, that was the worst part of it because I live in the mountains.
Yeah.
I have a mountain peak like literally next to my door, and I wasn't taking the goodness because I got so used to it. It became my not my normal, my natural state
Yeah.
that I forgot how much love I can find just by walking and talking to those peaks of mountains, hugging trees.
Yeah.
So for me, that was a big lesson of how it is important to fill our basic needs. And for me, being with the ocean, it's 100% a
Yeah.
basic need. Otherwise, it's just very hard to me.
Yeah. Yeah, so that goes even beyond personal growth or spiritual growth and beyond enlightenment, because this is real transcendence. It's where you find your essence, where you find yourself, where you find your true self. Uh,
Mm,
uh, that's the going beyond your physical and emotional boundaries.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
touches the
suppose
essence
so.
of your being,
Absolutely.
and that's the transcendent part of love. That when you bring it all together,
Mm,
and that's all these aspects of yourself, being in nature, having your dog. For me, it's having my animals here, having my place here in the mountains, having my partner, my wife, my the friends that are sometimes living here. Sometimes we have some volunteers in the house, and we're just one big family. And there's challenges, but these challenges help you just
yeah.
grow out above yourself. Yeah.
And I can totally 100% back up what you said. When I enter a Jan's house, you can feel the love. I feel so welcomed. I feel like a part of something bigger. I don't feel like a guest there. It's just I feel it home in some sense.
No,
Uh,
it's
which
home.
is absolutely a beautiful feeling. And love is feeling being at home with ourselves, with our surroundings, with what happens to us and what happened and has happened in the past. Because the transcendent power of love is and can transmute and turn even the darkest experience into the light.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the transformative part of it. Yeah, the transcendent part of it. So,
Yeah, just taking our experiences and
yeah,
what we've learned from them and
yeah,
bringing something good about it.
yeah. And Luna, how do you think, if we could give something to our viewers, uh, which kind of practices um, can they do to improve their self-love and their love for them and their environment, and how they can grow? What are some of these, yeah, I would call it practices, things you can do in order
Mhm.
to experience growth?
Well, I will start with sharing my own practices, what I do to feel more
That's
loved.
good.
I love to ground myself. I love to close my eyes for a moment, focus on my breath, imagine how my roots go into the Mother Earth, in, down, down, into Mother Gaia. And I connect with her essence, and then this essence goes up to me through those roots back, and it fills me up with love. Uh, what works for me as well is going barefoot somewhere out in the nature on the grass where I can again feel that connection with Mother Earth, especially when I'm walking on the beach and when I connect with the ocean, the body of water, and it's in element in tarot as well. Water represents emotions, so for me it just resets me. Even if I would have even the worst day ever, I just go to the beach, take off my shoes, and walk barefoot into the water, and it just shifts automatically.
Yeah,
And but it doesn't have to be body of water. The connection with Mother Nature's, that's what fills me, I think, the most
yeah,
within in terms of love, and that's my practice and self practice,
yeah.
connecting with Mother Nature.
Well, in that perspective, so you are a druid too.
Mhm.
Without labeling yourself as such, it's a very druidic practice to um,
Mhm.
find this peace, a peace of mind. Um, I can walk up the hill here, up the mountains, and find a nice rock to sit on, and just sit,
Mhm.
look into the white space, and just enjoy it, and just breathe in and breathe out, and forget that you are, forget your thoughts, forget your your disturbing thoughts that come up daily.
Mhm.
I have to do this, I have to do that, and think, okay, right now I can just be and have to do nothing, because I am where I need to be
I
in the
am.
now. I am what I am. Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I know a few. What I know for myself, a good practice or something I learned there was, on a Buddhist retreat where I was,
Mhm.
where we did the loving kindness meditation, the metta bhavana. Um, that was so interesting and transformative, because um, the meditation embodied sitting together with s- someone you love, someone you are neutral to, someone you're completely attached to, and someone uh, that's a bit, you know, you don't have to say
Mm.
someone you hate, someone you just don't like that very much. And after some soul searching, I found someone. I think, okay, I think that's not a really a really nice person in my life, or something I would love to be with. And then the meditation went on, and we had to investigate all these people. And what I found was actually the person that I liked less did exactly the same things as the person that I liked most. So it was not
Mm.
what that person did, it was my response to what they did. And when I found out, okay, he's looking good for him, this person is just good for himself, maybe a bit selfish, but he does exactly the same as one of the persons I love most.
Mm.
Totally changed my perspective. And what happened from then, I started reacting differently to that person, because he was in my life. I encountered
Mm.
him many times. And I started to respond differently. Maybe not even other words, or just a different attitude. And he changed.
Oh wow. Yeah, well, what we give, we receive back,
That was
and
so
what we
heavy.
give in terms of vibration and energy we send, people will respond to it. And I think what's worth mentioning is very often, I'm not saying that it was your case or anything that it's every case, but very often, if we dislike a person, is because they're mirroring something which we don't like about
Bingo.
ourselves.
Yep. Yep.
So it's good to look at those challenging connections we have in life and ask ourselves, okay, what does this show me about me? And there's can be gold found there.
Yep.
It's, as I said, it's not always the case. We can't generalize that every person is a mirror, and if you don't like this, is because you don't like this in within yourself. It's not like that, but very often it might be a case.
Yeah, like I said, this was maybe not a mirror, but it was somebody who exactly mirrored somebody
Mhm.
I loved. But
That's
it's
interesting.
kind of the same. And someone you love is your mirror as well, probably. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it is. And sometimes it's just hard to open our eyes and just admit it to ourselves.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. 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 So interesting.
Mhm.
Uh, I think two things you can do if you want to start loving yourself is
Mhm.
is what we call the selfless service. So engaging in acts of service without expectations, like voluntary work or
Mhm.
just helping your neighbor, just doing things for because of your doing them, and that
Stop for a second and have that conversation with that person who you meet on your path. Like, just don't pass them through.
yeah,
Have a word with them. You never know what the other person is going through, and maybe your smile will save their day.
that's it. Yeah, or maybe just your conversation will reflect back on you. That there's so many opportunities when you go out loving
Mhm.
yourself, and so being open to the world, showing yourself, here I am. I cannot be anyone else, and boom, there you are.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a step further, of course, are the random acts of kindness. Simple acts
Mhm.
of kindness in daily life. They can be so powerful, and they they give you a powerful heart. Yeah, like you say, being there for a neighbor, doing something unexpected, unwanted, unasked for, uh, just randomly because you think, well, why not helping someone?
Mhm.
I read a story about a friend of mine who found someone laying in the street crying. Uh, it appeared to be a boy who was already uh, in the streets for 3 days. He thought he could find something in the city there, and he didn't find it. And he thought, okay, maybe I should end my life. And what surprised him so much was that really nobody, even looked at the person on the street crying and being unhappy. And he sat down with the person and said, well, what can you do? I said, oh, I want to end it all. Want to end. And he said, well, let me call an ambulance for you. And the ambulance took an hour because it wasn't, a big accident. It was someone in need. But he stayed there for an hour, and a complete stranger, and actually saved his life.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah,
That's what it is. We never know how a small act, how much it can mean to other person.
that's it. Yeah.
And of course, I don't want us to get into that ego state again, that all of a sudden we're going to start doing everything for others and not ourselves. No, let's keep the balance, because lovers, it's all about keeping the balance as
It's
well.
always
And
balance. Yeah, 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 yeah. You don't have to overdo it. You don't have to. It's always self care, self love first, and from that position, you can give because you have enough. It's an
exactly,
ability. It's not. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Give from the cup which is overspilling. I keep saying is very often, because if your own cup won't be filled completely, then what you end up doing is giving away, giving away, giving away, and then eventually you will run out of energy for yourself. And the great example is when you board a plane and there is a voice explaining how what's the emergency procedure, and one of those procedures is when, in the case of emergency, when the oxygen masks drops down, you need to put the mask on yourself first and then to a next person,
Yeah.
even if that's a child, even if that's your child. And I couldn't understand it for a really long time. How can you put your mask? Why they want you to put the mask on yourself, not on the child? I mean, child is more vulnerable.
Mhm.
I couldn't understand it. So one time I asked a stewardess about it, like, what is the reason? And her answer blew my mind, because she said, if you won't take care of yourself, you may not be able to take care of others. And I was like, boom.
Yep. Yep.
From that moment, that was one of my strongest lessons on self love,
Yeah.
because I understood that if I won't take care of myself, there may be no other person to take care of me. So I kind of have no choice but take care of me. And then if I have access, if I have more energy, I can freely give it.
Yeah.
But not, I'm sorry, but self love doesn't allow me to give when I don't have anything to give.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you suffocate first, then there's nobody to help.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Wow. What a powerful discussion again, Ona.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And I feel like we could go and go on about this
yeah.
because it's such a deep topic that I'm sure we're going to come back to
We
it
will.
at
We
some
will. And if our viewers now live or maybe later in a replay think how would I do this? How do I integrate it? Yeah, it's
point.
building conscious relationships. Think of yeah, spiritual love in your daily life. Start with yourself, start around you, being present, listen deeply, show compassion and understanding. These are the stories.
Yeah.
That's what you need.
Speaking of our viewers, Richard, Magdalena, Cherry say hi. Another Magdalena says hi as well. Cherry said, "What a beautiful topic tonight." Feel free to write what are your beliefs, what are your thoughts on love, how you feel about love. Do you agree with what we said, or maybe you have completely different way of viewing at love and seeing love? Feel free to share it with us, and we will read it.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, while that happens, we promised you guys a card reading, because at the end of the day, we love reading cards.
We love reading cards.
We couldn't be talking about without having love, and uh, uh, without doing what we love. That's what I wanted to say, which is reading cards. Mhm.
Yeah, of course. And today, of course, the topic is the lovers.
Mm.
A lovely new tarot deck. I'm in contact with the maker of this deck, so we probably have an interview with her in a few days or few weeks.
Hopefully.
Which card is that, Luna? What did you show?
I have the starter row here. Starter row is, I can't remember the author. Oh, there we are. The starter is by Kathy McCanneland. Wonderful deck, one of my favorites right now, which was a present given out of loving and kind heart to me. Uh, so this is the best example of how love
Yeah.
flows. Unfortunately, my camera doesn't love me as much because it's not focusing, even though it was focusing
Mm.
before, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So we have a question from Richard. Um, I'll pop it up.
Oh, that's a really
How
good.
does love show in cards? I mean, what specific cards or combination thereof? Well, Richard, we have already shown you the love card. A very important one as well in many decks is the Two of Cups
Mm,
and the Three of Cups
and 10 of Cups.
and the Ten of Cups. Yep. And the self love in the Nine of Cups. So, like you said, water. The cups are all from the element of water, and the ace, of course, is the root of all love, and the two is
Mm.
love itself. The three is celebrating with friends, and the nine and the 10 are the happiness and the being togetherness in the nine of and the 10. So there's a lot of love there.
I would
Um,
also say Queen of Pentacles, because that's the person who take care of herself and others, her environment, those who are
yeah,
around.
that's that.
So,
Yeah, and of course the two mother archetypes, the Empress and the Queen of Cups.
mm.
Again, the cups. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I suppose to answer that question, it depends on what kind of love we are talking about, because the lovers, the Two of Cups, would be a romantical type of love. The Ten of Cups we mentioned would be more of a family type of love. So it depends on what kind of love we're looking for. It's going to show up one way or another. But there's plenty of cards indicating love in general.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But that's a really good question. Thank you
It's a
for
good
asking.
question. Yeah, yeah. And I think the male archetypes, like the magician, is an example of self love.
Oh,
I think.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's he is like sometimes a bit too much of it. You know.
Yeah, the magician creates,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
and the magician creates what he wants. So absolutely, absolutely. Magdalena says, I agree about importance of self-love and then sharing love with others. Are questions about romantic love the most common in your readings with clients? Yes.
okay. To me, then I don't know if they're the most common, but I have them a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
In
get them
terms
a
of
lot.
love, definitely
Yeah, yeah,
the romantic is a big part. But in
yeah.
my work, I always try to uh, emphasize the importance of self love.
That too, and you also touch a good thing there, Magdalena. Um, if you have, for instance, someone coming to us, will I get my boyfriend back?
Oh, we love those questions, don't we?
And sometimes the answer is the cards just say plainly no. And what do you do? Well, you have to say, okay, this and this. And sometimes that's good. That's why it's good that for such a thing you don't do a yes no or a one card spread. Give some background.
Mm,
I remember a recent one where I knew that the boyfriend wasn't speaking the truth when he said, I want to be on my own. It has nothing to do with you. I want to be on my own. That just means he has no other romantic lover yet. I says he's not telling the whole story, and forget about it. He's
mm,
open for something new, but it in this case it's not you. And then just be honest, be frank,
yeah.
and then love is giving the right and honest answer. Yeah,
And I think that's another way of uh, expressing love, that you say the truth. Even and okay, let's leave tarot reading for a second, and
yeah,
let's look in our private and personal life. How many times we just had to be open and honest with the person we love, because there was a need of having this conversation, even though it was a tough conversation. But at the end of the day, if we love, we care. And if we can help, we will. Even though if sometimes it may be a difficult conversation, it is still love.
that's it. Yeah, yeah.
Mm, okay, but because we had so many questions about cards itself, it shows me that I think we're ready to pull some
We
cards.
pull
I'm
some. We
already
pull
rubbing
some.
my hands because it's
Yeah,
the lovely part.
yeah.
Yeah. So how are we going to do it, Jan?
One of us will just start with two or three cards
Okay.
and take a story, make a story.
All right. Okay. I have an oracle deck here in my hands. Um. So I know how I'm gonna do it. There we are. I dropped the card, so I'm taking this one. Oh, it's actually two cards. Mm. Okay. So The way I'm going to do it, I keep dropping cards. The way I'm going to do it is, apologies, my, yeah.
No.
All right. You know, guys, that I'm a big fan of pick a card readings because they allow you to personalize the answer even more. So I have two cards here, trying to figure out the directions. Uh, and you
Use
can,
some more real estate.
yes, and you can pick your cards. If you're drawn to two, then there will be an entire message for you. However, it may be a case that you are drawn to one pile. So I'm going to start with this one. All right. Oh my goodness, that's beautiful. The first card, I have three cards here, is the card of purpose. You possess determination and dedication to continuously demonstrate love. So it immediately brings me to a person who is either looking for their purpose, or they found their purpose, and that's how they show the love. That's how they can connect with the love itself. I'm not surprised to see the word present here. We talk about that love is being present in general. You live in the moment and are able to bring forth the energy of love in your current circumstances. So, whatever you're going through, bring love to that situation. Be present, even if it's tough, even if it's challenge, by sitting with this situation, by bringing your attention to it, can actually bring a result or transformation. And I'm so amazed with those cards which came, because we talked about transformation as being a result of love and loving. You use the power of love to move through illusions and shift it into awareness. So the love which is within you can give you the power to transform everything what's in your present moment. Even if it's a big challenge, you can transform it with the power of love. So by finding your purpose, by finding what makes your heart sing and beat a little bit faster, that's how you will find that love, and that's how you will um, be able to manifest that transformation you're seeking so much. Beautiful, beautiful. I mean, it's amazing that the three words we used as love came out here. But if you feel that this is your pile, well, my dear, romantic feelings, your feelings are real and worth exploring. So perhaps you found a person who stirred your romantic feelings. There is somebody new you've met. And Spirit is saying here, yes, those feelings are worth investing in, or at least looking at it. Perhaps you found a new or discovered new passion. And Spirit is saying, yes, keep continuing this path. But with the card very soon here, I also feel that if you've chosen this pile, you may be experiencing a romantic love, which we actually didn't talk about too much in the sense of love today. But it says clearly decide what you want, so that it comes to you now. So first of all, I can see that very soon your romantic life can shift. It can be you will discover a new passion, you will meet a person, you will adopt a doggy, or you will go for a trip, which will make your heart open more and be able to receive and give more. But it's important also to decide on what is that you want. What is that love you're seeking? Not just romantic love, but love in general. What the life you would love would look like? Is there something which needs to be transformed? Or maybe you're happy with where you are. And very soon things will become clearer. I said it all also on almost on one breath.
Yeah, you
So
did.
that's what I have from my side. Interesting message.
Okay, I'll bring up my table.
Mm,
I have the cards spread out here,
the
and
cards look
what I'll
amazing.
do is just I do what similar what we did last week. I pick three cards.
Mm,
Uh, the viewers can pick a card for themselves, and we'll reveal them one by one. So I do this one, and this one. So only Maria Tarot, which is a
While
little
you're
bit.
doing it, we have another interesting question from Richard. So we're going to ask that question, answer that question after the reading.
That was
Uh,
yep.
yes.
Richard will come back to you after this reading. For now, it's your job to pick a card. Is it card one, card number two, or card number three that
I
has a
picked
message for
mine.
you? You know mine. You know yours. I
Yes.
know mine.
I'm scared after last week. I'm scared what I'm going to get, but let's do it.
First card. We have the Tower. That's Luna's favorite card.
And that's also the one I picked.
Of course, of course. I guess you would. The Tower. That's fantastic. That's a card that a lot of people are afraid of. Um, I would say it's not necessarily. It's the process you're in when you have this Tower moment that you could be afraid of, that you are entitled to be afraid of. But always remember that if something is broken, if a relationship is broken, or if a love relationship is broken, a friendship is broken, or you don't get you have the feeling you're not returned, you don't get returned what you've put into something, and have to let go. Um, let go.
Mm,
Knock down the house, bring down the house, and and let it happen, and you'll be better off after, because it's a card of transformation. Love is transformative, as we said. So sometimes it transforms in the way of breaking things down to create something new. Transformation, the Tower. The second card, that's the Queen of Swords. And the Queen of
mm,
Swords, as you can see on her high vantage point, uh, looks down at the world. She has the sword in her hand, and in her other hand, she holds the head of the liar, the cheat. And that's also an element of love. Not
mm,
necessarily a good one, or for one party, it's often a painful one, but it's cutting away what no longer serves you. So it represents
mm,
self love, honesty, honesty to yourself, and honesty to others. And yeah, and cutting away that what no longer serves you, to move on. So the Queen of Swords is definitely a card that you could say it has pure self love. It's taking good care of yourself and taking care that you don't get hurt. You won't get hurt.
mm.
Ah, the last one. I turned this one off because here we have it, the love,
Ha!
our Valentine's card. For the ones who chose this one, uh, be aware that that love uh, is coming. Love will stay. You will get more of this uh, love, especially love. Uh, this is especially love to other people, love with other people, also romantic love. Um,
Mm,
uh, this is one of the cards where Richard says, "How do you find pure and true love?" Well, pick the lover's card. It's um, it's a card we're going to come back to later in this week when we discuss the hero's journey, because in the love card, of course, there is a lot to learn for our fool or our hero in the thing. Ah,
yeah.
Magdalena, you picked card number three. Hooray! You're up
And
first.
my friend just texted me, I picked Tower as well.
Well, I told you today that Luna, I told you this morning that uh, the first tarot deck I opened, I have no idea what I'm doing. It's 21 years ago, and let me pick a card for myself and see what message it brings. And I asked for how will my life go from now, and I got the tower. And actually, all the things that after this tower, the single card pull I did led to my story, which I told earlier about the backpack in Norway,
Mm.
where I completely transformed. And so the
Karma, I suppose we're going to Norway.
we're gonna go to Norway, Karma. It's cold up there. Yeah.
Yeah. But
So
to
wonderful
me,
people.
power is
Honestly, yeah,
divine intervention. So
yeah,
even though it may look chaotic, even though it may be a scary card, it never is.
yeah. So
Mhm.
the
To
reading.
answer Richard's
Yeah,
question,
let's go for Richard's question. How can you explain or give examples of how the cards can indicate that some love in our lives is kind, pure, and true love? Uh, Most of the times, it's or the most a lot of times cards give um, an opposite meaning, that love isn't true. For instance, if you have a seven of swords, doubt,
mm,
it's about doubt and deceit. Uh, Even when the Queen of Swords shows up, it can mean that you have to intervene. But cards like the Empress, cards like the Queen of Cups, um, uh, yeah, and like I said, all the good cards from the Cups realm represent in general good feelings and good sense of love in the tarot, actually. And yeah, the Strength and Lust card points very much to pure self love.
so for those who don't read tarot, it all depends. And Jan mentioned that before, saying, "Give me the story. Give me more than just one card."
Yeah,
It depends on which card, which signifies love, what card is next to it, or what cards come together. Because as Jan mentioned, there will be a card which will confirm that purity, but there are cards which will confirm the opposite, just like Jan said. So it depends on what's the, let's say if we get the lover, what card is with the lover's card,
yeah,
and we can always clarify, and we can always ask.
yeah,
And then depending on the meaning, the answer will be as follow as well.
yeah. And that also, so there's another aspect as well. So there's three aspects. There's the general card meaning, then there's the neighbors, then there's often the position. Is it upside down or not straight? I
Mm,
use the positive and negative meanings uh, uh, interchangeably, but also the position in the spread often can point to it. For instance, when you have a Celtic cross and a love card is in position number one or two, which actually forms the heart of the cross, uh, you would say, okay, there's if I get this as a starting, I say, okay, there is a need for honesty in the love relationship. And that's how you start the reading. Boom, two cards. You have the question for honesty in the love relationship. Or here, uh, the, the tower and the lovers. You're broken up, and is there a new love coming, or is the old one still in play? There is. It's that's how the tarot works. The cards work together. The cards have a position, and the cards have a meaning. And the fourth element, of course, is the interpreter, the reader
mm,
himself. Either you, Luna, or me.
so long story short, yes, with surprisingly surprisingly precision is within tarot cards. And I think that's what we love about tarot, that it gives you answers like straight to the point,
Yeah,
no messing around.
yeah.
You like it or not, that's what it
It's
is.
it's yeah. Occasionally we call I call it a blunt weapon,
Yeah, that's a really good actually
or
way of
sometimes a lead pipe.
framing it.
When you hit it, it doesn't leave marks on the surface, but it goes deep. So be prepared. Yeah, you're not always uh, get to hear what you want to hear, but most of the times you get to hear what you need to.
Truth. Exactly, exactly. And with that said, I encourage to watch this space around Thursday, where we're going to go deeper within the lover's card and what we can learn from the lover's card itself. In the meantime, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, especially if you're watching us on any other channel than the Luna and the Druid. Make sure to hop on YouTube, press that subscribe button to watch us going live and receive all the materials we're posting.
That's it. Yeah. So keep up with us. And that, my dear viewers, was our show for today. Thank you so much, Luna, for your guidance, your inspiration, your insights, being the high priestess of the show today.
Likewise, Jan, likewise. Thank you very much. It's such an honor to hold this space with you and learn from you.
Yeah, yeah. We learn from each other.
Mm,
It always works two ways.
but
That's what
we're the
we've been
Druid.
talking about all this whole hour. So I encourage you to, yeah, keep an eye on us. We're posting about 2 videos a week. We'll probably start posting some shorts as well. So enjoy, uh, and hope to see you again soon.